What's up, family? Hey, first and foremost, thank you to all the I can't even talk. Thank you to all the subscribers, all you that have just joined the family. This time last week, today's Sunday. As I'm making this video, it's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast time. We hadn't even gotten to 5,000 subscribers yet at this time, and here it is, Sunday the following week, and we're like 50 subscribers away from hitting 9,000. That's like crazy to me, that many people want to hear what I had to say. It is what it is. Family, man, I talk to so many people, in counseling and coaching and mentoring, and man, we have to understand that we got to know who we are. We have to know who we are. And so many times we make life more complicated, more difficult for ourselves because we make choices that are not in our best interest. And what do I mean by that? Man, I talk to so many people that have alcohol problems, that have drug problems, that jump into unhealthy relationships and all these other different things. And I just happened to be talking to a young man earlier this morning from South Africa. And he was talking about, how he started doing drugs and all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, I've never met in my entire life, I've never met anyone as a kid who grew up and said, man, I want to do drugs when I get old. I want to be a drug addict when I get old. I've never met anyone that's ever said that. Every kid innately knows that doing drugs is a bad thing. Every kid innately knows that doing the drugs is not in their best interest. And that's not something that any kid wants to do growing up. Kids say, man, I want to be a baseball player. I want to play football. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a veterinarian. I want to work with animals. I want to do all these other different things. I want to be a scientist. No kid ever says, I want to be a drug addict. And so what happens in life is that so often we go through life, something happens and it triggers this response, where we want to deflect, where we want to eliminate the pain. We want to put a Band-Aid on the suffering. And so we start drinking, or we start smoking, or whatever it is we do to calm the pain, to ease the tension, to ease the suffering some, and we're not even aware of the fact that, man, we're creating bigger problems. We have issues that we're not dealing with, and we don't want to deal with those issues. And so we start drinking. We don't want to deal with those issues, so we start smoking. We don't want to deal with our issues, and so we'll jump in another relationship thinking, man, all I need is love. All I need is to find somebody that likes me and I like them, and man, all my issues go away. You know what I mean? And that's not reality. All we do is create bigger problems. We've taken the problem that we've had, we've pushed it down, and we've jumped into something else, not even understanding, not even realizing that we're creating bigger problems for us, because our problem didn't go anywhere. We didn't eliminate our problems by smoking. We didn't eliminate our problems by drinking. We didn't eliminate our problems by jumping in this relationship. You know what I mean? We just made the problems worse. You know what I mean? Because now you got to deal with this toxic relationship. Now you got to deal with all this extra drama. Now you got to deal with all this extra madness. You know what I mean? And what happens is you get in those relationships and it brings up all of your baggage, all of your insecurities, all your fears. You know what I mean? All of the emotions that you weren't trying to deal with. This relationship that was all fun and games in the beginning, it was great sex and great companionship initially, now it's turned into something devastating. Now it's turned into something destructive. Now it's turned into something extremely toxic, because it showed you, man, you can run but you can't hide. You know what I mean? You can't hide from your emotions. You can't hide from your issues. You're going to have to deal with them. You're going to have to man up, woman up, and face your insecurities, face your fears, face your traumas. There's no getting around it. You could run, but you can't hide. You're going to have to deal with that. And so, man, don't create more problems, because it is what it is. You're going to have to sit down at some point in time and figure out, man, what is it? You know, and again, I used to work in prison systems in California, and the inmates would always tell me, man, the worst time is at nighttime. You know what I mean? The worst time is at nighttime when it's time to go to bed. Why? Because now you have no more distractions. You don't have the homies hanging out with, talking to you and whoop-de-whoop anymore. Man, now it's lights out, everybody's in a bunk, everybody's quiet, and now it's just you and your thoughts, you and your fears, you and your insecurities, you and your memories. And the great majority of us, we don't want to deal with that stuff. We don't want to deal with that stuff. And so we take pills, we drink, we do all kinds of stuff to help us go to sleep so that we don't have to deal with that stuff. It is what it is. We're going to have to face our fears. Every single one of us, we're on this hero's journey. And what I mean by this hero's journey is that, man, we got to face our monsters. And all of our monsters are different. Your monsters may be totally different from mine. They may be the same. But we're all going to have to fight our monsters. And our monsters are nothing more than our insecurities, our fears, our traumas, the things that we don't want to deal with within our head. And we don't understand that by facing our monsters, man, our monsters are really there to help us grow. Our monsters are just there to challenge us. We don't see them as that. We see it as something to hide from. We see it as something to run away from because we're scared. Because we don't think we can handle it. We don't think it's there for our best interests. My hope and prayer is that you understand why you have the issues that you have. And there's nothing wrong with having those issues. Those issues are a great thing. Those issues are there to aid you in your growth and development. There's no way that you could talk to somebody and encourage somebody and witness to somebody and inspire somebody how to make it out of where you come from if you don't deal with that. So many of us, you know, everybody seems to be woke. Everybody talks about being woke. This is the quote unquote wokest, ignorantest generation ever. You know what I mean? Everybody's woke, but don't nobody understand anything. You know what I mean? Everybody's woke. Everybody knows everything except how to deal with their own issues. You know what I mean? Everybody's woke, but don't nobody understand why they're going through the hell they're going through. Everybody's woke, but they ain't enlightened. Although they're convinced that they're enlightened. Although they're convinced that they're aware of what's going on and who they really are and what their purpose really is. You know what I mean? You're confused. Your ego's got you twisted. Your ego's got you brainwashed. You're really not growing. Your ego has convinced you that you've arrived. Your ego has convinced you that you've done all the work. Your ego has convinced you to make you believe that you're more woke than you really are. You're more enlightened than you really are. You're more wise than you really are. And so it stops you from growing. It stops you from going deep within your subconscious and doing the real work. Because you've been brainwashed and tricked to think that you've done it already. We have to understand who we really are. Who we really are and why we're here. And when you get that understanding, man, you understand that it's all good. It's all good. All the pain, all the hurt, all the rejection, all the broken hearts, all of that, it's all good. Why? Because now I'm able to take my experiences, I'm able to take the lessons that I've learned, and I'm able to use those to encourage, inspire, and challenge other people who are in the same place that I was in, who's going through similar pain, who's going through similar trauma. I'm able to take my experiences and show them a way out. I'm able to take my experiences and be a beacon of light, a beacon of hope, a beacon of love to guide their path, to show them that they can make it out of that dark place. I remember years ago, I used to send out text messages to all my nieces, all my nephews, to my kids and other family members and friends. And every day I would send out like this big mass text message. And then I was always trying to do something inspiring, something motivating, something challenging. And my niece had changed her number, and she hadn't let me know she had changed her number. And this guy had got a new telephone number, and he had got her old number. And I never met this guy before anything, and he just happened to get my niece's number. And he's in this list because I'm sending it out to all these numbers. And so, unbeknownst to me, I'm sending this stranger these messages, and this guy finally contacted me after several days, and I got this text message saying, "Hey, I'm not who you think I am." And it's like, my bad, I thought this was my niece, and he was like, "No, I just got this number a few days ago." And I was like, "Hey, my bad, I didn't know. I'll reach out and get a hold of my niece and get her new number, my bad, I'll take you off the list." And he was like, no, don't, please don't. I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Man, your messages saved my life." It's like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Man, I was ready to commit suicide. I had pulled out a gun, and I was getting ready to shoot myself in the head. And your message popped up on my phone. And I read your message, and I broke down and started crying. And I'm humbled by this guy talking to me, this strange dude talking to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy." And so I said, "Hey, do you mind if I call you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And so we're talking on the phone, and he's telling me all the stuff that he had just gone through. He had just got jacked, and shot and left for dead, and a drug deal gone bad. Got out the hospital. He's been out for a few days, got this number, and he's ready to commit suicide. He's done. He can't take no more. Just all the hell he's gone through with his family, his homies, everybody. One of his homies set him up, and so he's done. He's checking out. And here it is, this stranger, somebody that don't even know him, is sending out this message that pops up, out of nowhere. The random text message from nobody, he quote unquote, to him. And it tells him what he needs to hear. He got the message that he needed to hear from somebody that didn't even know him, somebody that didn't even know he existed, just because he had got a new telephone number. And so we're talking. He said, "Man, and a couple days ago, I was ready to commit suicide again. I was ready to die again. And I had my gun. And I'm writing my letter of why I'm going to end it all." And another text message from you pop up. And all I could do at that time was fall on my knees and start crying and talking to God. Because I asked God to show me, if you love me, help me. If you love me, send somebody to let me know that I matter. Send somebody to show me that I mean something, that my existence is not in vain. God, give me a message. Show me that I'm here for a reason. And again, a text message from you popped up and told me what I needed to hear. Family, a lot of times we don't understand why we're going through what we're going through. And we think it is bad. We think it's all for us. We think it's, punishment. We think it's because we're not worthy of love. We think it's because nobody values us. Nobody sees the real us. They see the flesh. They see our body. They hear our voice, but they don't hear us. They see us, but they don't see us. They could touch us, but they can't connect with us on a deeper level. And so we feel like we're all alone. We could talk to people and, man, they go completely over their head. They're not even hearing us. They hear the words, but they don't hear the harmony. They don't hear the pain. They don't hear the suffering. They don't hear our soul crying out for help. And so why? Why keep going? Why keep going when nobody's listening? Why keep going when nobody cares? Why keep going when we feel like we're in this dark world and nobody values us? They use us, they abuse us, they sleep with us, they take our money, they give us money, they do all these things. But they don't connect with us. They don't love us. They don't value us. And it's painful. It's lonely. It's scary. And I understand that. I understand that. Been there, done that. And so we go through all the things that we go through so that once we learn the lessons, we could turn around and share our stories with other people. We could turn around and connect with other people because we know the pain of being lonely. We know the pain of nobody listening to us, nobody validating us. You know what I mean? And it's not that we're here to be validated, but we all want to connect with somebody on a deeper level. And when you've been invalidated your whole life, you know that pain. And so when there's other people going through that, you know how to connect with them and let them know that they matter. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. That's why you're going through all that you're going through. That's why you're going through all that you're going through. It's not just about you. It's deeper than that. Man, family. It's cold out here, but I just want to stop in and I love you guys. Man, I love you guys. I hope you guys can see, not just see, but feel my energy. Hear and feel and see the love that I have for each and every one of you. Man, I love you guys. And if you don't hear it from anybody else, man, I value you. I value you. You're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. And it's not to be a doormat for everybody else. It's not to be a pawn in somebody's game. It's not to be used and abused and abandoned. It's to be a beacon of hope, a beacon of love, a beacon of passion, of compassion. You're here for a reason. You have a purpose. I love you. Happy healing. Peace.